Hello everyone, my name is Mike, and this is TheBoredCyborg. Welcome back to yet another episode of What's in the Bag, which is my version of the movie collection update, where I go over the movies, and DVDs, and Blu-rays, and video games, and stuff like that, and comics, and books, and anything else that I find really cool that I found out in the wild at the bookstore I work at, or elsewhere. Let's dig right in. What an intro. We've got Poltergeist on the first season. What? Poltergeist Legacy Season 1. I watched an episode of this on Amazon Prime, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I like it. I could see myself getting into it. And so I figured I'd pick it up. It was at my bookstore, sitting there on the shelf for God knows how long. And I was like, you're gonna come home with me, actually. It doesn't have much to do, at least the first episode doesn't, with the original Poltergeist trilogy. But that's okay. It's setting up some pretty cool ideas, and had to own this. Just because it's Poltergeist and because I liked what I saw. So, Poltergeist The Legacy. Do you guys like this show? Have you seen the entire thing? I know it has a few seasons. Let me know. Next up is a James DeMonaco film. Picked this up for the sole reason that I enjoy his Purge movies, the first two at least. I love the second one, enjoy the first one, looking forward to the rest of them. He is the creator of Purge, but before he did that, he did this little crime film called Staten Island. Again, this was at my bookstore, and I picked it up for $2. Want to give it a whirl. It's Ethan Hawke. I love Ethan Hawke in almost everything I see him in. It's got a good cast, Vincent D'Onofrio, Seymour Cassel, written and directed by James DeMonaco. Crime film. I love me a good crime film, especially set in New York. That is Staten Island. Next up, these are in no rhyme or reason, Pain and Gain, which is a film that I could have sworn I had in the collection, but upon looking, I did not. Michael Bay film that I really do enjoy about a bunch of bumbling meatheads who think they are smarter than they are and try to dabble in crime and get in way over their head in a lot of hilarious situations. And it's just sort of an anti-action movie in a lot of ways. It's presented like an action film with all these super buff The Rock and I think Anthony Mackie and Mark Wahlberg, but their action star looks are juxtaposed against a crime action story and they have no idea how to navigate. And that's where the humor lies. It's a dark comedy with some really funny scenes. Definitely when Michael Bay is at his best, when he's doing films like this, or like the one on Netflix. What was that one called? Oh, man. I'll put it right here. Either way, Pain and Gain was a lot of fun. Glad to own this in the collection. We have Bad Influence, which is a film that I don't know anything about. It's Robert De Niro? No. Robert Downey Jr. and Rob Lowe, I want to say. Is that right? Rob Lowe. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. is not in this. Apparently James Spader is, though, and it's directed by Curtis Hanson, who did L.A. Confidential, and written by David Coep, who wrote the Spider-Man movie from 2001, and also wrote a little film called Jurassic Park. So, Bad Influence. Glad to own this in the collection. Don't know much about it, clearly. Oh yeah. Power Rangers in Space. This was from my era, but I stopped watching Power Rangers after Mighty Morphin for whatever reason. I was kind of sad that they ended Mighty Morphin and all the characters I grew to love were kind of gone. But I figure as an adult, I'll give these a whirl, and I have a whole new vision, or perspective on these, I should say, now that I know about Tokusatsu and Super Sentai, which I love, like Zyuranger, which was made into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was based on, Super Sentai Zyuranger, which is excellent, by the way. I love both. I'm nostalgic for Mighty Morphin, but I think the story is way better in Zyuranger. Either way, that is Power Rangers in Space. Police Story Lockdown. Got this on Blu-ray finally, upgraded. And got this for like $5.50 shipped on eBay, yes. And add it to the Jackie Chan Blu-ray collection. I've yet to see this movie. I haven't even opened this one yet. But I hear this one is a lot more serious. It takes away a lot of the humor that the Police Story franchise is known for. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. We shall see. I hear it's a more gritty performance by Jackie Chan, sort of like it was in Shinjuku Incident, which I also have yet to see, I really got to break into his more serious roles. But it's not the Jackie that I grew up and love and have nostalgia for, and just my comfort zone. That Jackie, those sort of films are sort of my home. But I do need to give these more serious Jackie roles a chance, because I know he's a great actor and capable of doing more than just the slapstick, goofy stuff that he is known for and that I love him for. Anyway, that is Police Story Lockdown. Next up, Nemesis and Angel Town. This came into the store, and it had to go home with Papa. Nemesis is Albert Pyun. I think Angel Town is Albert Pyun as well. Yeah. So Nemesis is known as one of the great B movies, science fiction action B movies of the 90s, and I agree. It is awesome. Incredible action, slow motion, very John Woo. This is Albert Pyun at his best. His best movie by far, in my opinion. Just so much style, just oozing of atmosphere. It's awesome. And it stars Olivier Gruner, so this is kind of an Olivier Gruner double feature. Angel Town here is where he actually got his start, and a young Mark Dacascos has a very small cameo in this as well. But Angel Town was really the first movie that Olivier Gruner got to show off his skills. I haven't seen many Olivier Gruner films. I've seen a few, and they were okay. But Nemesis is by far his best that I've seen. But I'm really looking forward to Angel Town. Just supposed to be a straight-up inner-city street sort of action film. Very excited to have this. This came into the store, and it definitely was going home with me. Awesome. Next up, this one also came into the store, and I was like, what? Brand new with the slipcover? Scream Factory? Yeah, buddy. Firestarter. A Firestarter. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I sold my DVD for like $10, which totally funded this, which was like $3, I think. And so it was a... Oh, Buggy. How'd you get in here? Okay. Gotcha. Stay over there. Anyway, where was I? Firestarter, based on a Stephen King story. Haven't seen this in a long time. Really looking forward to checking it out again. Scream Factory edition, baby. Love it. I know you slipcover. Ow! Going crazy. This one also came into the store. Now, I think these both came from Walmart. I think somebody picked them up and was like, never mind. I'm going to trade them in for like $1. $2 in trade credit. Someone to watch over me. Because I've seen a lot of posts on the Facebook group I'm a part of, which is the only reason Facebook exists, in my opinion, is this great collectors group I'm a part of. But people were posting that Walmart had these, and I was like, yeah, I think that's where these came from. It's just kind of odd. Maybe they were stolen, for all the hell I know. Either way, someone to watch over me. I sold my DVD, which is out of print, and I got like $12 for it after shipping and fees. Great Ridley Scott film, one of the lesser-known Ridley Scott films from the 80s. What's it, 86? 87? Really good movie about a bodyguard who's kind of watching over this woman. Things start happening around him. I don't remember much about this movie, but I know it drips with atmosphere, and it feels a lot like Blade Runner and also Black Rain, which has the same sort of cyberpunk-esque atmosphere to it. All three of those films. Obviously Blade Runner. But I really liked this movie when I saw it, but it's obviously due for a rewatch. Tom Berenger is awesome in it. That is someone to watch over me. Next up, I did pick this one up on Amazon. It was like $10 or $8, and I was like, yep, that's coming home with me. The Stand. Stephen King miniseries from the 90s. I've seen it once. I sold off my DVD to partially fund this. Got like $5-6 for it, so this didn't end up being too much. Got a slipcover. Great artwork here. Definitely newly commissioned, but I do like it. 4-part miniseries. Post-apocalyptic, based on one of his biggest novels. And biggest in terms of length and in terms of popularity. That is The Stand. Can't wait to rewatch this one day. I love 90s Stephen King miniseries. Langoliers. Tommyknockers all make me feel like a kid. I watched them all growing up. A lot of them I watched when they were airing. Just very great memories watching those. Next up is Deepwater Horizon. Knocking stuff over here. Deepwater Horizon is it's kind of a disaster film that is based on a true event of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig out in the Pacific, I want to say. BP is in the film and is represented by John Malkovich's character, who plays a great He's got a great, like, Louisiana Bayou sort of accent, and he's just an asshole who is making these guys work, guys and girls work under unsafe circumstances, and it rears its ugly head, and this oil rig explodes, again, based on a true story. And Mark Wahlberg plays the guy who relayed the story to the media, to the press, and it's a pretty solid Peter Berg, Mark Wahlberg action thriller. They have like 5 or 6 of those at this point. And Deepwater Horizon was a solid 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Good effects, a moving story, good performances, just solid disaster flick. So I'm happy to add this to the disaster movie collection. Next up, a couple 4Ks, guys. Galveston. This came into the job, $2.50 for me, $2.50. Never even heard of this, but I like Ben Foster. Who directed this? Melanie Laurent. That's right. That's another, she's a pretty popular director. I don't know if I've seen any of her films, but either way, Ben Foster is in this one. Galveston, I think it's sort of a crime thriller of some sort. I like those types of movies, especially these neo-noir sort of neo-western sort of crime thrillers like Hell or High Water, that kind of thing. Galveston. Looking forward to checking this one out. Who else is in this? Elle Fanning, Lily Reinhart, Robert Aramayo, and Beau Bridges. There you go. 4K of Hair. And the next 4K we have here is Mayhem. This is a, Joe Lynch movie. Gotta be honest, I'm not a huge Joe Lynch fan. I think he's kind of pretentious and sort of a Tarantino wannabe kind of guy. But he makes okay movies that are mildly entertaining in my point. I should say they're pretty entertaining. They're very fast-paced, balls to the wall, over the top. I just feel like his stories never quite come together. But I do like this one. Steven Yeun from Walking Dead. Now, the main reason I added this to the collection is for one of my favorite actors working right now, Samara Weaving, who is in The Babysitter, which I love, by McG, who was also in Ready or Not, which is even better. I just think she is so good in these genre films. She's badass, she's funny, she's quirky, she's beautiful, she's got it all. And if Margot Robbie wasn't playing Harley Quinn right now to the T, I would say Samara Weaving would be a great pick. But I love her. That's why I added this to the collection. Not for Joe Lynch, not for Steven Yeun, even though I like him and I like his performance here. But it is sort of an office worker satire, about the malcontent of working these dead-end jobs, which I could really relate to. And I actually have a story called The Unspooling, which I've written a screenplay for that I'd love to film one day, that deals with a lot of these similar themes. Now, I wrote it years ago, of course, before I saw this movie, but it's obvious that other people feel the same way about these brainless office jobs, and that is what this is. It's a big allegory. It's a super ultra-violent satire, and I do like its ideas. I just feel like its execution wasn't great. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, but I think on a repeated viewing, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's okay. I just love Samara Weaving. So, Mayhem. And last but not least, in terms of DVDs, we have Real Monsters, the complete series. I sold off my DVD to fund this, which was like $15. I still came out of pocket quite a bit, but I wanted to expand my Nickelodeon 90s collection, which is ever growing. I'd love to own all of them and do a retrospective one day. I plan to on all the Nickelodeon shows I grew up with, everything from Ren and Stimpy to Rugrats to Doug to Hey Arnold to Real Monsters, even things like Angry Beavers and all Rocko's Modern Life and Wild Thornberrys, just my childhood in a nutshell. Love all those shows. I definitely love Real Monsters. It still holds up. I was watching a few of these on my DVD that I ended up selling, and I was like, man, I need to upgrade. That's what prompted me to upgrade to this. I love this. Love the theme song. Love the adventures of Ickis, Crumb, and Belinda. Is that her name? Melinda. No, Oblina. Of course, Oblina. I forgot Oblina. I'm such an idiot. Real Monsters is just such a great show. So fun, so gross, so quirky, so weird, so 90s, so Nickelodeon. Real Monsters. And lastly, I saved this glorious item for last. So glad to have this in my Blade Runner collection. That is the Blade Runner vinyl, which is in like new shape and is not gonna stay. There we go. I'm gonna go like here. Look at that gloriousness. An original pressing of the Blade Runner soundtrack on vinyl by Vangelis. You guys know this is my favorite film of all time, at least one of. It's always, my top 5, 10 are always changing. I'm ahead of myself. The Thing, Blade Runner, Alien, Nausicaa, Matrix, Goodfellas, all these, Die Hard, these films are always sort of interchangeable in my top movies of all time, but Blade Runner is certainly one of them. I adore this movie, and the soundtrack just elevates this movie to just transcendent goodness. I love the soundtrack. It's epic. It gives me goosebumps, especially when you see that that cityscape shot with the fire coming out of the oil refineries. It is just so epic, guys. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing moves me like Blade Runner, man. And now I have the glorious original soundtrack on vinyl. Now I just need to hook up my vinyl record player and we'll be good to go. Whew! That's going to do it for this What's in the Bag, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as well as the little bell for notifications. I also have a Patreon and t-shirts. Both of those links are in the description below. I'd love to know what your favorite piece of the ones that I showed off that I picked up today are, and I'd also love to know what you've picked up in the last couple weeks, months, days, whatever. Feel free to leave it down in the comments below and we can get a little discussion rolling. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next time. Bored Cyborg is out. See ya. Peace.